It's the final day of the FIDE Candidates 2026. We have Vaishali coming in to the game along with her mother Nagalakshmi. In the background is Pragnananda also entering in with his second Vaibhav Suri. But Vaishali, what a big day it is for her today. She is in joint lead along with Bibisara Assaubayeva on 7.5 out of 13. If she manages to win today, she could have a big chance to make it. And a pat on the back by her mother, Vaishali is entering into the zone as Nagalakshmi goes back, maybe just waits around for the game to begin. Prag comes in. And there you see, after both her kids have entered the playing hall, it's time for Nagalakshmi to go back to the room. Kateryna Lagno is Vaishali's opponent. Kateryna Lagno is a phenomenal player. She's a multiple time World Blitz champion, World Rapid champion. The only title missing in her arsenal is the World Classical title. And today she has an outside chance if she manages to beat Vaishali. But the biggest chance is for Vaishali, because while she is fighting for the top spot, if Bibisara Assaubayeva is stopped by Divya Deshmukh, then Vaishali has a big chance. And there you see Vaishali entering in, a handshake there, and gets herself adjusted in the chair. Vaishali has had quite an event here. She was leading with a full point margin a couple of rounds ago, then lost to Zhu Jinner. She steadied her ship with a draw against Tan Zhongyi and now has the white pieces against Lagno. Will she manage to control her nerves? We have the director of Cap St. George's Hotel, the venue of the tournament there, and she makes the pawn move to e4. Very likely this is the move that Vaishali will play, but as is very common, Vaishali takes back the pawn. The players are ready. 90 minutes for the 40 moves, and then an extra 30 minutes, a handshake. Vaishali calms herself down and pushes her pawn to e4, and this, dear friends, is the Lotus Chess game of the day. Lotus Chess is a wonderful app that you can download from the link in the description. Now, what do you get if you download it? Well, you can actually get better at chess openings using it. You can also become stronger at middle games and end games and use its wonderful interface to interactively learn things. The training also adapts to your style, and so it's free for Android and iOS. So maybe you can try it out by downloading this wonderful app. Pawn to e4 by Vaishali, and Kateryna Lagno pushes her pawn to c5. We have the Sicilian on the board. And now the knight comes out to f3. Pawn to d6. Maybe we are going to have an open Sicilian here. Vaishali, open to the challenge, goes pawn to d4. Exciting stuff. Pawn takes pawn. Knight takes d4, taken. We have knight to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. And knight to c3, defending the pawn on e4. And now g6 played by Kateryna Lagno. She's playing the dragon as Vaishali brings her bishop to e3. Now dragon is a dangerous opening, but Kateryna has never played it before. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm pretty sure Vaishali hasn't prepared dragon specifically for this game, but she might have prepared it for this tournament. Pawn to f3, castles. You can already see clear battle lines being drawn Black has gone on the king side, white is going on the queen side. The pawns will start hurling on the king side. Knight to c6 played. And now we have two ways to play. One is bishop c4, the Yugoslav attack. But Vaishali goes long castle, allowing the move pawn to d5. And Lagno plays it. Vaishali takes on c6. Maybe not the most popular line. Like one of the most popular lines is to take the pawn. But now goes bishop c4. You can't take the bishop as the queen is hanging. So that's the reason why bishop e6 played. Maybe not the best. e6 is the best move here. But bishop e6 now allows Vaishali to actually, take the pawn. And she can be pawn up. This Kateryna Lagno. Vaishali can also drop back her bishop to b3 if needed. But she takes, knight takes d5. And now she's a pawn up in this position. But what is Kateryna trying? The main thing that she's trying is to get these open files against the king in return for the missing pawn. And look at this move, rook b8, putting pressure here. Just as an example, if you play c3, boom, takes. And this can be very, very dangerous. Or queen a5 even. But Vaishali calmly brings her bishop back, the best move in the position. Queen to c8. Now she doesn't want to trade queens. Queen c8, threatening takes here, and the pawn would be pinned. So king b1. Now Lagno takes, and actually c takes b3 is a very, very good move. C takes b3 and white is better. But also a takes b3 is great. Maybe c b3 is better. A b3 on the board. Vaishali has a big advantage. Pawn to a5. Threatening a4. Attacking the pawn on b2. And now bishop to d4. Yes. A good move. Offering a trade of bishops. And pawn to e5. Attacking the bishop in the center. We have the bishop dropping back to c3. Now a5 under pressure. a4 played. And b takes a4 taken. Well, the better move was b4, but after a3 you have to also consider taking here and putting the bishop back. Maybe a slightly tricky variation, so Vaishali took. And Lagno goes queen c4. b3 by Vaishali. But now you already have to give up the a4 pawn. Vaishali brings her rook into the game. Rook h e1 with the idea of playing rook e4. A very nice move. And rook b5. Lagno wants to double down the b file. Put pressure. Here rook e4 played. The queen comes back to a7. It's actually a tough position for both sides. For white, because black wants to double here, double on a file. Queen c7, now putting a bit of pressure on the bishop. And Vaishali says queen d3. She's a pawn up, by the way, guys. Very, very nice position. Rook c4 is coming. Queen b6. Once again, some threats of taking. Bishop comes back to b2. So very solid move. And now rook a5. Intending rook a8. And imagine the e-pawn moving. Rook coming in with the bishop opening up. That would be something. Bishop c3. Attacking the rook. The rook can go back to b5. She goes back to a6. Now queen e3. She goes queen to c6. Rook comes up to c4. And queen e6 played. I like how Vaishali is slowly making progress, threatening queen d5. She's not making errors. Rook a8, doubling down the a file, and rook c5 with the idea of queen coming into d5. h5 pushed on the king side, and pawn to g4. Ooh, Not the best move. Queen e7 maybe, with the idea of attacking the rook, maybe tripling down the a file. Hg taken. Fg. And can we go queen b6? Maybe coming here, tripling down the a file would be the best, but king h7 played. And Vaishali now puts her rook on d5, doubling on the d file. Queen to c6, attacking the bishop here on c3. The bishop drops back to b2. And rook a2, this is not the best move. In fact, something like queen f6, queen f4 should have been tried. But now Vaishali can simply fix it. Yes, g5 fixes these pawns. f5 no longer possible. e5 is fixed. Queen h4 and rook d8 coming. Queen b6 trying to control the d8 square. But now check. King goes back to g8. And she comes back queen e4. We are on move 38. So Vaishali repeating to gain time, but rook 8 a4. Now you can't take here because it's a mate in one. However, there is a very strong move. Check and pawn to c4. It's winning. Imagine this. Check. King has to go up. Pawn to c4. Threatening queen h4 mate. You even give up the b3 pawn. What a... Yes, Vaishali finds it. Rook d8 check. What a move. King h7, and now the key move on the 40th move with Vaishali having 1 minute 54 seconds, and she plays it. She finds it. There's no time for queen b3. Queen h4. White gets there first. Black takes. Rook takes c4. But this is not enough. You're going to sacrifice your rook. Of course, again, no pawn takes. There's a mate here. So queen takes c4. Yes, it opens up the bishop. But there are no real threats. Oh, rook b2, she gives up her 2 rooks for just 1 bishop, Kateryna. But the rooks are there to protect the king. There can be an e4 check. But now just calmly come back, king b1, king c2, both are fine. King comes to b1. And now Vaishali, all that she needs to do is take care of not blundering. She's almost at the finish line. Kateryna is trying for the last few tricks. Rook comes back, queen f5, and one must mention that Bibisara Assaubayeva has already drawn her game against Divya Deshmukh, which means that if Vaishali wins this, she will be the champion without tie breaks. Queen f3. Played rook to c2, and now queen f4 played. We have rook to e1, attacking the e4 pawn. Pawn pushes forward to e3, and queen g2, threatening a check and another check here, and it seems like the game is over. Kateryna, well, she's fought hard. She's really played creatively, put maximum pressure on Vaishali, but Vaishali has found a way, navigated her way to victory with resignation. Vaishali wins. She is the champion of the FIDE Candidates 2026. With this win, she gets the right to challenge Zhu Wenjun for the world title. What a big moment of chess this is for Vaishali and her entire team. Kudos to her. She is an absolute star, and what a lovely, lovely achievement for her and for Indian chess. A big moment. Congratulations to Vaishali.